Yes, I am on the floor. No, I do not care. The fact that I set up a whole thing over there, and since I did the last video I haven't actually tidied up from that. I don't care about that. I also don't care because it's currently Saturday night and I'm recording this and you're going to see it either tomorrow, so Sunday, or Monday. Hi there. I'm Liza. If you didn't already know. Because I've never actually said my name on here, I don't think. My eyelashes falling off. Please just pretend you don't see that. Halloween series. I am reviewing 5 horror films, classic horror films, and saying my opinion about them. Which so far I have done 1. But I've seen 2 films. And the film today is Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, also ignore my mirror there that apparently reflects everything here, and the fact that I'm watching Avengers stuff. This is just a mess, this video so far, but I can't really be bothered to do it again. Came out in 1984. It has Johnny Depp in. I don't know if it's the first film that he ever starred in, but I know it has him in. He plays one of the main characters. It's been like a month since I watched it, because it was the first film that I watched. Then I watched The Exorcist. And I can't actually remember particularly. Spoilers. I keep forgetting to say that with 2 videos in, and I keep forgetting to say that. This video has heavy spoilers. I'm going to put this in first before saying the bit that I just said, and now I will say the bit that I just said. I believe the film starts off with the main girl having a spooky dream. Now I can't remember this exactly because it's been about a month since I watched it and I didn't actually write anything down. So this is going off of memory from about a month ago. I'm pretty sure it starts off with the main girl having a scary dream containing this character. Scary things happen, obviously, but she wakes up and she says to her friends, have you guys had any weird dreams or anything lately? And they're like, kinda, but they're just dreams. And they're like, yeah, but it really reminds me of that nursery rhyme that we used to hear as kids. Which is the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, 3, 4, better lock your door, which is about a guy who murders you in your sleep and then tries to hurt you in your sleep. They're like, yeah, but that's just a silly nursery rhyme, like all kids have that, ours is just local to the area. The main characters have a party around one of their houses, and 2 of them go upstairs to do stuff, and she falls asleep, has a dream, and gets murdered by this man. So once this happens, people hear screaming. The guy wakes up and sees her getting cut open from nothingness. The camera obviously shows that being happening as well, so you know he's innocent, you know he didn't do the murder. But the 2 friends go in and they see that he's gone and she's just completely dead, and they're like, oh snap, he's obviously done this, why did he do this? The police get involved, obviously because murder, and they assume that it's the guy who left who murdered her, but it's not, it's Freddy Krueger. So the whole story then goes around based off of them trying to find the guy who they think did the murder, but it not actually being him, and the main girl is trying to prove it, but no one believes her because it sounds kind of insane saying that your dreams of killing people. So they managed to find him eventually. They managed to find him because he's hiding, and they use her as bait because she goes to school one day and he follows her so that he can say his side of the story, and he's like, no, I didn't commit the murder, it's insane, I wouldn't do that to her, I loved her. And she's like, well then who did it? And it's like, the guy in the dream, he did it, I've been dreaming about him too recently. And she's like, oh snap, and then the police come out, and then she's like, no, but he's innocent, why did you use me? And he's like, no, I'm innocent, and they arrest him and put him in prison. He later dies in prison because Freddy Krueger kind of suffocates him, strangles him, hangs him, but makes it look like a suicide, so they just think he killed himself because of the guilt of murdering his partner. It turns out, because she brings back the hat, she's like, look, this is proof that he exists. The mum then says, this can't be true because we killed Freddy Krueger about 10 years ago, so he can't be the person committing these crimes because he's dead, because I murdered him. Because apparently he murdered like 5 children, and the police didn't do anything about it because there wasn't any evidence. So they went and they set his house on fire, which would explain all the weird burns. And now he goes on to haunt people in their dream. But the mum doesn't believe it because she doesn't believe in the paranormal. And the daughter's like, but this definitely did happen. All of that stuff. Boyfriend, or just friend who is also Johnny Depp, then gets pulled into this dimension by Freddy and then kind of splurted out of his bed. It's a really weird, it's quite a comical scene, but it's very effective because it is literally, he gets pulled into this bed in another dimension and then it's like a tornado of blood. And the police obviously go around because there's been another murder, and she's like, oh, I can bring the hat back from my dream world, I can bring him back if I can grab hold of him. So she makes this elaborate plan to bring him back into the real world so that the dad can arrest him, but that doesn't happen because he doesn't believe her. He just tells her to stay inside the house, and all the doors are locked in the house and she can't get out because her mum's a bit weird and a bit psycho because she murdered someone about 10 years ago. All of that stuff. Then gets brought back from dreamland into the real world, and she then says, you live off of people's fear, that's how you are able to do this. So she becomes really happy and tries not to be scared of him, meaning that all her friends then get alive. Wow. All her friends come back to life, basically, but I'm not sure how real that is, because it kind of... They come back to life, they all get into a car to drive off, and like, the car gets possessed, almost, and drives away, and they're yelling at the main girl's mum, saying, please help us, please help us. And then she gets pulled through the door window of her front house door. It's a really weird scene, and that's how the film ends. The film itself is very comical. It's a very ridiculous film. There's, like I said, bits like this, there's tornadoes of blood, they have good makeup for the guy, but it's a very comical film. I know when I watched The Exorcist, I found The Exorcist quite scary, but with this one I found it comical. Not laughable, but comical. I went to bed later that night and I didn't realise how much of an effect that the film had, because, so we watched it when we were having food, and we watched it about 6 o'clock, and I went to bed about midnight, so 6 hours after we'd watched the film. I remember lying in bed with it playing on my mind, which films don't particularly do that to me. I normally get scared in the moment, but films rarely actually play on my mind when I'm going to sleep. Only a couple of films have done that, but this film as well kept me up for like quite a while because I was just thinking about it and I was worried about it. very good film, because films don't do that to me. So in that way I would rate it quite well. The makeup's very good. There's no silly CGIs or anything, because it's all makeup or things that they wouldn't be able to better, I don't think, particularly with CGI. The Nightmare on Elm Street was definitely a freakier idea, especially knowing that, because you have The Exorcist, which, if you believe in that kind of stuff, it's scary. I do believe in it personally. I do believe in ghosts and possessions and things like that, so that kind of thing does scare me, but I know that it's very dramatised, and I know that that kind of thing doesn't happen really often. The things about Nightmare on Elm Street is it is loosely based off of a true story. So I remember, like, I've researched this, but I've seen it in like a couple of things. But from what I remember, there was a group of people who came over from somewhere to either England or America, and they all said about the same person or a similar person being in their dreams, and they all died within like 2 months in their sleep, and they had no underlying medical problems from what I understand. They weren't old, they weren't unwell, they all just died in their sleep. I think they were all people from like the age of 25 to 30, so they were all older. They shouldn't have any sort of health problems. It wasn't sort of the time period either that they were, that was life expectancy. They were all very healthy people, but they all died in sleep, which I think is then scary, because that is what Nightmare on Elm Street, from what I understand, is based off of, which is just scary, because if you think about films with ghosts and films with demons, if you don't believe in that kind of stuff, it's not scary, because you can think logically through it. This isn't going to happen. If you do believe in that kind of stuff, you just try and avoid it, because like, you don't play with Ouija boards, or you don't try and summon demons. You respect them. You try and avoid doing it, which people in horror films don't always do, which is why they get haunted and possessed in the first place. But with Nightmare on Elm Street, it just plays on your mind, because like, you can't control that, and that really messes with you. And I know it's based off of a true thing as well, because like, again, with demons and ghosts, you can put some sort of logic behind it, because you can respect them, so they'll be less likely to do it, or you just don't believe in them, so you're fine. But you can't stop dreams, particularly, and things like that, because people weren't. It's so odd. It's just very odd. It's really weird. I'm sorry that I'm not doing a makeup look for this, by the way. I put up the last one, last video, and it didn't. It's been up for a week and it's got 10 views, which is completely fine, but it's got 1 dislike and no likes. So I'm trying to see something by not doing makeup in this one and just seeing what happens, because I have a feeling it's when I do special effects makeup and makeup in general that people are like, nope, don't like that, we don't like it, so we're gonna dislike it. So I'm seeing whether or not that happens with this video. I didn't even plan to look this much like him. I thought I'll put this on because this is Freddy Krueger, and I've got kind of the red to resemble his burns. I've got the brown and the, not like a glammed version of him. But this is the second video of this Halloween series. I hope that people are enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying it so far. I'll probably watch them anyway, because it's Halloween and I haven't seen half of them, and in theory be back there next time. But this video was kind of rushed because I have no motivation to do anything. Hence the reason I'm recording this literally the day before, in hopes that I can edit it tomorrow and upload it tomorrow. tomorrow. Yeah, like this video if you like it, subscribe, as I post videos like this every week, in theory Sundays, probably not, depending on when I'm able to record and when I'm able to upload, but videos like this every Sunday. Halloween series will be reviewing classic horror films, so even if you just stay for that, that would be great. If not, I'll be going back to doing horror videos where I make things like this, or me just being me and being alternative, a weeb, and just generally having fun. I will see you next week. Bye! I was dressed earlier in ripped jeans and I am now wearing my jump bottoms because it's 1 in the morning. And if you've made it this far in the video, you knew my secret, and if you haven't, then that's your own fault.